Ask Reddit by user Lion530. Title: People who were in their 20s during the 90s, what are things you miss or younger people don't know? Comment by Joyce Vanoniofmani: I miss pre-9/11 air travel, like everyone else. Reply by Texas Finca: border crossing. Man, it was so easy to go back and forth to Mexico. Comment by Needs Morituba: the simple joy of receiving a monthly magazine. Looking at my photos after picking them up from the 1 hour photo place. Boxy cars. The Gadzooks store in the mall. It was like a Spencer's and a Hot Topic combined, but with half a Volkswagen Bug in every store. Not feeling like my technology might be spying on me. Comment by Himthinu Guy: a world without social media and the associated constant surveillance by your peers, parents, neighbors, and authorities made for an easier, happier life. Reply by Bujomomo: I'm so very happy to have gone through college without cell phones and social media. You could feel free to party without worrying about every moment being documented and disseminated to the world. Meeting someone you liked was actually exciting and intriguing because you couldn't search for them on social media or Google them. If you wanted to go out with friends, you talked ahead of time and made plans. Once you were out, no one was distracted by phones. Everyone was in the moment. It was great. If any of my wild nights were splattered all over my friends' FB or SC or Instagram, I would have become a recluse much earlier in life. Comment by Catching Grays: I don't know about Miss, but a vastly cameraless society. I hardly have any pictures of myself from that period of my life. Comment by Survivalo the Fitst: it was the best possible time to be living in NYC, I think, having lived there is every decade so far, since the 70s, particularly at that age. The city was finally recovering from the financial crisis but hadn't turned into the playground for the rich it eventually became. You could live in accessible parts of Uptown and Brooklyn living on the salary of, say, an entry-level position at a nonprofit. The cocktail revolution had just kicked in, ushered in by the unimpressive Cosmopolitan. I don't know anyone who actually drank those. There were so many new, cool bars and lounges, a new one opened every weekend. Drinking wasn't just about beer and Irish whiskey anymore, it was martinis and mojitos, caipirinhas and cucumber gimlets. Single malt scotch became huge and, though expensive, much easier to access. There were still cool little bookstores and record shops everywhere, regular and secondhand, every neighborhood had at least one. There were kooky stores like Star Magic, which had the section on academic level astrophysics books next to astrology, 20 different kinds tarot cards sold next to 20 different kinds of high-end telescopes, and science toys of every kind. Cheap, fun, really good, usually pretty small, restaurants were everywhere and you didn't have to wait in line. The It Place trend was just starting, where waiting online for pizza, ramen, cupcakes, 1 pound cookies, cronuts, whatever became a pastime on its own. It wasn't very common yet, and the places were usually easy to avoid and not very good, like Ruby Foo's. It was a great time to be young and single and living in a city. Comment by Notsumsmum: stuff I miss, living my life offline. Leaving work at the end of the day, not doing any more work until tomorrow. People making plans for a couple of weeks' time and actually sticking to them, and having loads to talk about because you didn't know what everyone had been up to for the past few weeks. Road atlases. Stuff younger people might not know, being able to be out of contact if I was somewhere between point A and point B. The sound of a dial-up modem, I don't miss that. I finished my PhD before Google existed, so I had a filing cabinet drawer full of scientific articles on paper, and a catalog of 3x5 index cards. I saved my thesis on 8 floppy disks. Speaking of which, floppy disks. Comment by Pad Lilywell: I did a master's in Liverpool in the mid-90s. Thing I miss most was the fucking music. UK music in the 90s was just awesome. Literally dozens of amazing bands knocking out hit after hit. My highlight was seeing Oasis at Nebworth supported by Prodigy, Manic Street Preachers, Chemical Brothers and Ocean Color Scene. Probably the high point of Britpop. Comment by Merdesi00: I miss being in my 20s. Ask Reddit by